It happens to thousands of people. According to Spanish law, even if the bank keeps your house because you can't afford it anymore, if it has lost much of its value, you still owe the bank the rest of the outstanding debt.
We're just as badly off as when I was a girl, like in the 40s. We're going back to the same situation.
They're lowering salaries and cutting back on pensions, but they're also cutting back on services. So people are having to decide between eating or cutting back on groceries to buy medication.
They've already made cutbacks. Now we have to pay part of the medication. How dare they? But they won't take on the banks, who are the ones that caused this crisis.
They need to stop lying. We pensioners demand that the government tell us the truth.
Don't have any doubt that even though you were elected, you will soon be thrown out for your mistakes and crimes.
That whole area was dirty with rats and everything. But now it's open. And we decided that before it got to the point where people were breaking in, we'd take over and open a soup kitchen.
We have an inclusive universalist policy. Everyone is worthy, everyone can contribute. Everyone can go and receive.
I've come with some food. I saw on the internet that they needed it. These days we all have to share.
The crisis is something internal. It's intrinsic to the capitalist system. And it will end the capitalist system. Capitalism will destroy itself.
There are almost 9 million pensioners in Spain, and with the economic crisis, their benefits have been frozen or have failed to increase as expected. We must also take into account the number of families in which every member is unemployed, making it necessary for the older generation to support them. Senior citizens are having to tighten their belts more and more in order to lend a hand to their children each month.
Yes, I help them out whenever they need it. Of course I do. They can't go on otherwise. Prices are going up and salaries are going down. Everything's so much more expensive and no one can weather this. It's so hard. I wish I could help out more. I've got 3 daughters who are all employed and 1 son who's out of work. So he's living with us. But that's life.
My cousin's daughter is married, and she and her husband are both unemployed. They alternate, eating 1 week at her parents' house and the next week at his parents' house, because they don't have work and they're not going to find work.
Has she needed help? Of course she has. I've sure helped her out, especially because she lives right downstairs. I'm on the 3rd floor and she's on the 2nd floor, so she's at our house all day long. If it's not the mail, it's something else. And when she's not out of sugar, she's out of salt. That's life.
7 out of every 10 senior citizens have seen their savings capacity decrease as they come to the aid of their children and grandchildren, offering them meals, mortgage payments, or cash to make ends meet.
We're going to get to the point where we don't even have enough for a meal. I just hope this gets cleared up, because things are really bad. If it doesn't get better, we're in a real mess. Everyone will be out on the street, and I don't know what's going to happen. Because some people live really well, but look at the rest of them. And I really can't complain about my situation, but what about those families who lose their houses? My God, it's just terrible.
But the need to support their families is not the only pressure these seniors are experiencing. The crisis has meant a new copay of €1 per prescription. an increase in the VAT and higher electricity bills.
They've already made cutbacks. Now we have to pay part of the medication. How dare they? But they won't take on the banks who are the ones that caused this crisis. And it's not a crisis, as they say. They're changing words around, too. It's speculation. That's right. They're switching words around. They say outsourcing, but it's really privatization. So people won't understand. They say adjustments. No, they're firing people. They say the system. No, it's capitalism.
Evidence shows that the crisis is not affecting only those who are unemployed. Senior citizens who thought their future was secure are not so sure now.
We're just as badly off as when I was a girl, like in the 40s. We're going back to the same situation.
All sweaters, €2.
A city of poor people who share your values. In the heart of the poor and the humble, there is justice.
8 years ago, this bank was abandoned here in the neighborhood of La Palmilla, so local residents decided to occupy it and create a social center where they could provide services for this traditionally humble part of Malaga, which has been hard hit by the economic crisis. There's a soup kitchen. They provide legal assistance for those facing eviction. There are literacy classes and volunteer services, and everything is self-managed. It's still a bank, but now it's called the Good Bank. They decided to occupy the space on the very day of the last general strike. 1 month later, they already had enough basic supplies to get started. Considering the bad bank had just been established, choosing the name was easy. So says El Chule, the social leader of La Palmilla. A gypsy, he's been fighting for years to build up his neighborhood. Founder of the reception center known as La Casa de la Buena Vida, he's also one of the driving forces behind the bank.
That whole area was dirty, with rats and everything. But now it's open. And we decided that before it got to the point where people were breaking in, we'd take over and open a soup kitchen. We've written to the director of Unicaja, and we're hoping that they'll answer soon so that we can come to an agreement. This is a social center, a great place, very important for our neighborhood, and we hope they'll donate the space.
There are 30,000 people in La Palmilla, but it is believed that 10,000 more have not been registered by the census. Built in 1964 to solve the problem of shanty towns and take in families affected by urban development plans, it has always been one of the most marginal sections of Malaga, where poverty, delinquency, and prejudice put its residents at constant risk.
People think none of us are educated, that we don't even know how to fill out a form, that we're wild, that we're all drug dealers, that we're bad. That's what people think a lot of the time. But the people here are really good people. Look at the people who come here from other places to work with us. Once they get started, they never leave.
That's what happened to Fali. He's not from the neighborhood, but since the bank opened, he's been here every single day. He's in charge of communications, announcements, and receiving people at the center. He directs them to lawyers, the social worker, or the psychologist, depending on their problem.
Up to now, the thing that is working best is the legal section. There are 3 lawyers who are donating their services. Here everything is free, no charges, no payments. We have an inclusive universalist policy. Everyone is worthy, everyone can contribute, everyone can go and receive.
That's why he's not worried that they are outgrowing the space.
If more people keep coming, well, there's the pharmacy that's been abandoned as long as this place. We'll just open up the pharmacy too, the same we did here. If more people come, we'll have more expenses, like food. But we'll also have more income because we try to make sure that people get involved.
They don't receive any public aid, and one of the food banks that used to contribute has just stopped doing so. But the center's range of supporters is so vast that they're moving forward all the same.
2 policemen came in, one pretty young and a little harsher. But the boss was really nice and he told us, look, the councilwoman is going to be sending us over to give you a scare. But the truth is, I'd like to help out. Can I sign up? And I said, sure. I say, even if the police, who are in charge of kicking us out of here, are collaborating, that's a great example of how far people will go to support us.
Hold it up. Hold the rooster up.
According to Social Security legislation, pensions must increase at the same rate as commercial prices. But the government has not complied with the law, even though President Rajoy promised that these measures would not be taken. So the pensioners have taken to the streets.
They waited until all the elections were over, in Basque Country, Galicia, Catalonia, and everywhere else, in order to make their final attack on the most vulnerable people in the country, pensioners. And currently, many families are dependent on their pensions.
Dozens of retired people have locked themselves up in the Social Security offices to request that the law be upheld and the government's promises be kept.
They need to stop lying. We pensioners demand that the government tell us the truth.
A lack of reappraisals means that on average, pensioners are losing more than €400 per year in purchasing power.
Because many people are supporting their grandchildren, their children, and in many cases, as my colleague mentioned before, these are very reduced pensions, and even so, we are supporting our families. These people should be ashamed.
Everything can be linked to the difficulties with reduced pensions in this country. Increases in electricity, in gas, in transport, the problem with healthcare copays, this terrible economic crisis.
We're always the ones to suffer. People who depend on their pensions in order to get by. We're the ones to lose out.
In order to get around the law, the government has released a retroactive royal decree. As the decree is considered unconstitutional, there is room for protest.
We believe that there are sufficient solid arguments here. And the solid arguments are that the government of the Popular Party has violated one of the main principles of the Spanish Constitution. They cannot enact rules and regulations or take measures that are retroactive in nature and which are harmful to Spanish citizens.
The regrouping of families has kept poverty in check in Spain. But if those over 65 continue to receive reduced pensions, the essential support they provide for their families could come to an end.
The lunch shift begins at 1 o'clock sharp, and residents begin to arrive in search of a hot meal.
Today I made a chickpea stew, which is traditional in Malaga and all over Spain. The only thing is I have to make the pork separately, because we have to be respectful of the Muslims who come in. We have to take on board people's religions. So we cook that separately.
Joaquin, how many people can you serve from this batch?
Oh, we can serve from this pot about 120 people, more or less. If we run out, then we just improvise. We whip something up. If people keep coming in, we make it work. We make a bunch of rice or whatever, so nobody goes without.
And where does the food come from?
Well, the food comes from lots of places. Banco Sol is helping us out a bit. We also go to Merca Malaga, asking for contributions at each stall, and we explain who benefits from the donations. And families as well. We have a Facebook page where we post the things we need, and that's working out really well. We can't complain. The pantry isn't totally full, but we've got enough to go on for a while anyway.
Hello, good morning. About your little...
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
I always like to thank people for the help, because without you, we're nothing.
I've come with some food. I saw on the internet that they needed it. These days, we all have to share. We all have to help out. I've brought a little of everything. What I had on hand: corn, pasta, beans, coffee, the things they asked for. I try to come down regularly. I want to teach my daughter these values because this might be me somewhere down the line.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Have a good day.
They opened a month and a half ago. In that time, they've served 8,000 meals and helped 600 people in a neighborhood where unemployment is at nearly 80%.
There are nice people here, and they give us food. They make you comfortable and do what they can. We come here to eat, and it keeps us out of trouble. Keeps us from robbing and stuff. I don't have anything. No house, no life, nothing. They stole my entire life. In 3 months' time, everything just fell apart.
Because of the crisis?
The crisis, housing, evictions.
The good bank is everything for me. They give me lunch and dinner. I do get a little public help, but I use that for my car payment, which is 150 euros, plus my water, gas and electricity bills. There's nothing left for food. If it weren't for the good bank, I don't know how I'd eat.
So you're happy then?
Very, very happy. I come every day at this time, and then I come back around 7 o'clock for dinner. If I didn't have this place, I wouldn't have enough money.
There are many people, and I'll bet even more will come because I really believe in them. They come here to contribute, to help, to collaborate, and I think that's the most important thing. The people come here needing help, and that we are always here to help them and support them and give them whatever they need.
With the economic crisis, the hierarchy of families has shifted. Before, the older generation didn't have to worry about the finances of their children and grandchildren. But now, with only an average monthly pension of 800 euros, many are providing most of the economic support their families need and are carrying a great deal of psychological weight. The crisis is affecting the psychological and physical health of senior citizens. At an age when they should be enjoying their retirement, many of these people are being forced to take on extra responsibilities.
They're lowering salaries and cutting back on pensions, but they're also cutting back on services. So people are having to decide between eating or cutting back on groceries to buy medication. So we're starting to talk about weighing basic vital needs and having to choose. And this is a situation that is extremely stressful for one's mental health, social health, and physical health. It's very intense. You just have to get those thoughts out of your head. The truth is, we're in a situation that is somewhat unnatural. It's not logical. A more logical situation would have younger people taking over for older people, retired people, people who are at the end of their lives, or at the end of their working lives. But in fact, it's just the opposite.
The wave of evictions has also affected them. Many pensioners co-signed their children's and grandchildren's mortgages. Experts say that losing one's home is a source of profound anxiety.
Grandfathers, grandmothers, fathers, and mothers have been evicted as guarantors for their children, or else they use up all of their savings helping their families. It's almost as though the people they're trying to help are dragging them down to the bottom of the well, where they all drown together. Everything they've accomplished in their lives is suddenly and very quickly lost. Accomplishments as far as rights, social centers, and a comfortable life for their children. And in the end, it's a little like passing the baton to the next generation. But suddenly, something unexpected happens, and we're moving backward. We were moving forward, but now we're not. And it's very frustrating.
Sin duda es una situación de frustración también bastante fuerte, ¿no?
But not everything is so dramatic. The older generation knows how to face adversity and take on the situation.
Have no doubt that even though you were elected, you will soon be thrown out for your mistakes and crimes.
This is an extremely strong generation. Look at them in the protests against this situation. You might have heard the term hippie grandparents. These are people with very thick skin. They've lived through some very hard times, and they will grow through this experience. No doubt they're frustrated to be going through this after all they fought for, and to see their savings disappear or seem like they're going to disappear. But there's an energy there. They're ready to fight for their families, and it's impressive.
It's time for the evening shift at the office that helps residents handle complicated situations. Together, the psychologist, the social worker, and various lawyers can meet up with 100 people per week.
This used to be the director's office. The idea is that there's a team here of lawyers, economists, psychologists, social workers, and mediators who try to help residents solve problems they're having with different public or social entities. Evictions, cases of homeless children, families who risk losing their children simply because they're poor. Good afternoon, come on in. How are you? Have a seat. So, tell me what's going on.
Well, let me explain.
Jose is one of the 3 lawyers who do pro bono work here. Now he is fully immersed in the neighborhood's water problem. Many houses here are not registered, so pending debts pass from one to the next. In many cases, these are debts that the municipal water company has coerced residents into signing for, according to Jose's formal report. For this reason, many residents have had their water cut off and have had to hook up illegally to the water supply. But this is just one example of the neighborhood's many problems. So Jose's main objective, and that of the Good Bank, is to get other residents involved and prove that the local government has neglected the neighborhood.
In the end, our goal is to establish a comprehensive co-op, to create a social safety net that brings new energy to the area and helps move things forward. We have lots of projects going, but our main goal is to empower the neighborhood. We want residents to recover the rights they've lost, which in some cases they never even had to begin with. And we want them to have a quality of life which is decent.
Initiatives like this social center are beginning to spring up all over the country. It's a phenomenon that poses a question. Are they a result only of the economic crisis?
The crisis is something internal. It's intrinsic to the capitalist system, and it will end the capitalist system. Capitalism will destroy itself. At least that's what I think. I might be wrong. But we think we will reach a point where we will overcome this capitalist chapter and move forward. Instead of accumulating capital, what we will accumulate is humanity.